Okay, Ali G,
Yeah.
I want to ask you some questions. Today, we will discuss some interesting topics that we are very fascinated by. I wouldn't use the word very fascinated, it's just very important. I want to talk about being emotional. Specifically, the topic of this video is about emotional agility. Why is this topic so important? I'll tell you why I think emotional agility is important. There was this report, I saw it online. What are the future skills that people require in maybe like 5-10 years, maybe 15 years and above? Like future skill. Obviously, you see data and AI is like
Taking
on the
over.
rise.
Yeah.
Like these two are the ones that like every company, every workplace, like you have to know AI or data.
Yeah.
But at the same time, one thing that's creeping up is emotional intelligence. But this emotional intelligence is not a new concept. It's been introduced since many years ago. Why do you think that is becoming like on the rise as high as AI and data?
Might be, I think, because it's like people are probably losing the touch itself. Like the more people digitalize everything, it's like the more they lose touch on how they can manage or control their emotions. Because I think a lot of their time are being like,
When they focus so much on numbers, when they focus so much on technical things,
yeah, they focus too much on technical thing, on
wanting
electrics,
to
on
be fast and
yes.
efficient.
So they lose the touch on the human qualities, which is one of the most important thing is the emotion. Yeah. So
Connection and
connections, yeah.
relationship, yeah.
Because if you look at it, in order for us to be able to be emotionally regulated, you need to have at least enough time to nurture a thought. But now, because everything is so fast, and like how social media is, most people don't have the time to sit upon a thought, you know, like, oh, this is something hard to think about. They just, oh, let me just distract myself. Let me just go on, you know. So the thing about that is you need to have the time itself. Yeah. Other than the method, you need to have the time also to
Sit and ponder and embrace your emotions. I think there's also a lot of stereotypes out there. There is a camp of people that says, in order to achieve what you want, you must suppress or remove your emotion. There are certain situations it helps, but there are also a kind of people that they allow emotions to control them. Right? So I think this word emotional agility is a little bit different from emotional intelligence because emotional intelligence is that you know yourself and then you know how to regulate yourself and then you know other people's feeling and then you know how to manage relationship with them. By emotional agility, I think it's more about what's going on within.
within you.
It's the self-awareness and then the self-regulation. So are you even aware of your emotion and then what your emotion is making you do? And then furthermore to that is, once you do it already, is that feedback loop of how is it going to make you feel and then how is it going to make other people feel.
Yeah.
The sad thing is, a lot of people still think that this is a very soft skill, that is not tangible, it's not worth learning.
Yeah.
Why do you think so many people nowadays struggle with their emotions? For example, like they think that emotions must be controlled, right?
Yeah.
Emotions must be managed or understood. Why do you think so many people are struggling to deal with their emotion?
I think it's because most people don't really understand, they don't understand themselves well, and they don't understand the emotion itself. If we give in the time to try to understand, like, example, something happens to you, like someone said something to you, instead of giving an instant reaction, we asked ourselves, what is the emotion itself? And why is this person saying it to me? The more time that we give in to sit upon that thought, you'll have a better understanding on the emotion itself. Because if there's no understanding and we jump straight to trying to manage and control the emotion, then you're just keeping it in a bag, you know. Like, it's going to come out later, but it's not going to be resolved, you know. So it's stacking up. You might think like, oh, you know what, it's soft, but it's not. But if you have a proper understanding, like, example, why am I feeling this way? And am I supposed to feel this way? You know, you get a better understanding. Like, why is this person saying this thing to me? Instead of me giving a reaction instantly, like,
You pause.
yes, you pause and give the time before the reaction. You have to, because it's either we have the time to ponder upon a thought, to understand the emotions properly before giving a reaction, or we will try to reflect it back after we give a reaction. Like throughout the day later, we'll be like, oh, you know, I shouldn't have said that. But if we don't have these two, then we will continuously go on with life without checking back. We won't have the time to like, oh, you know what, I should do this better. I think most people, it's either two things. One, maybe people don't have the method to do it. The most important part is, most of the time, most people don't have even the time to ponder upon it. Because there's so much distraction, instead of choosing to sit down and reflect on your day, they distract themselves with whatever pleasure they can.
Of course.
Meeting a friend, watching a movie, you know.
Dopamine hit.
Because it's not a nice feeling to reflect back and realize that, oh, I made a mistake here. I shouldn't have reacted this way. So it's a lot of thing to do compared to just distracting yourself. So I think mostly it's the time, because if we're not able to ponder upon a thought, example, how should have I done it better? Could I say it better in a different way? If we don't have that enough time to have that dialogue with ourselves, then we will continuously think that we are right and the other person is not right. Whatever is happening, it's against us. You get me? It's like, because we don't have the time. Like, we're only thinking about, oh, it's because it's easier to point, you know, than to like, oh, wait, maybe
yourself.
this thing happened is because I did this or I said this.
How did you become the cause rather than you're always the victim?
So that I believe that the more digitalized we become, the more we will lose touch, because most people with, okay, if we look at it, at how even our attention span, it has reduced a lot compared to before social media. So people has loosened the capability itself to like sit down and like focus on a topic. Maybe like, because how quick things are moving, we're like, okay, I'm done thinking about this, let's move on. I'll move on. Maybe it's like, oh, I don't want to think about it, I'll just move on. But the more we ponder upon it, the more, how to say, the more you get the answer, you know, more answers will come to you, more perspective will come to you.
Well, we are given emotions for a specific reason, right? And we have gut feelings or gut instincts for a reason. And then if we as human try to digitalize everything, you try to erase the human part of you, imagine what will happen. It will come back even stronger.
True.
I think that's what they did when they studied science, because your brain essentially is processing how you feel. And then they say that there are people who are suppressed. It doesn't come out. Maybe they achieve their goals, which I think we are not trying to say that you need to embrace your emotion all the time. You need to use it wisely. But if you suppress what you are supposed to feel, actually it will manifest in this. So I think for myself, I have experienced things where I suppress my emotions so much that I thought I'm fine, and a few months later you see like, oh, you got gut problems. And then you suddenly, you are like, you are supposed to be healthy, and then you get sick. Because your body will find a way to tell you that you're not feeling good, and you need to learn from the emotion.
It's giving you signs.
It's either you deal with the conflict. Let's say you are fighting with someone at work or your relationship, and then you avoid it because it's like, oh, it's easier to avoid it because it's peace, right? But you're suppressing the emotion. Sometimes it's better to just like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna have this uncomfortable conversation, but at least my brain knows that I'm doing something and I'm acknowledging that I'm feeling it. I think people nowadays, this is what's lacking in the workplace, because everything is about efficiency, productivity, fastest way to get there. So a lot of people are just suppressing. So they, like you said, they move very fast. The faster they move, the less time they have for stillness, for reflection.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn. And being like a prawn. Okay, damn. Oh, there's one more thing that I wanted to mention, why people are struggling with emotion. It's also your childhood upbringing.
Yeah.
You imagine if during your earlier childhood, you're constantly being neglected about your emotions.
Yeah.
You grow up being the person that will avoid all your emotions.
That's true. Also, the thing is also the, let's say our parents or
Very emotional.
yeah, they weren't taught to
Yeah.
it comes down the cycle. It just
You
continues.
inherit it.
So unless let's say we know what to do, and we change it, we change how the cycle works, it's okay. But
That is if you're aware.
if you are aware, yeah, the awareness is always the key. Without awareness, this thing is not going to work. Yeah.
Maybe we should just do a 5 hours topic on awareness.
Awareness.
Because,
That's the key.
Awareness is before that.
Yes. Without awareness, I don't think any of this is going to work. Because first, we need to know that there's a problem to solve. If you don't know that there's a problem to solve, then what is there to solve?
Well, then let's make it practical. Let's say you were giving advice to anyone that is listening to this, right? Because it's so easy for us to say that, oh, you are struggling with emotion, you need to deal with your emotion.
Yeah.
But what do you think, based on your experience, is the first few steps people should take in order to get to that emotional agility?
Okay. I think the first few steps is to instill at least a habit of self-reflecting in a day. It doesn't matter whatever way that works. At least there must be a certain amount of time that we give to ourselves to reflect back on our day. What has gone through this day, and what are the things that you like, ponder upon something that you've done, something that you've said to another person, like how can I do it differently, how can I. So I think that's the first step. Whichever way that works for you. If it's difficult to mentalize the thoughts, then it's good to write it down, to journal it. Because maybe it's difficult to section
They will
things.
forget, and
Yeah.
it's hard to,
At least if you journal it, you can always go back to it. You should find their purpose, their objective, I think without that, it's like you're like a dead fish. Without that purpose, no direction.
No
Just like
why.
whatever happens, I'm going to follow, my mood is going to follow whatever that happens. Whatever people say, what is the circumstances, how my mood is today.
You let the day happen to you rather
Exactly.
than you make the day happen.
Because I think objective purpose is the key. Other than the awareness, to find that awareness, and then is the objective. Like example, you're in a company, right? So you have a dispute with your colleague or something. But the purpose of that dispute is to solve something, It's like to solve a problem in the company. It's not personal, Maybe that person, both sides are
See
trying.
it as personal,
Yes,
sure.
maybe both sides, one of the side or both sides are going to think that, this person is saying this to attack me. But if you focus on the objective, like why are we working here? Why are we arguing about? What is it? So if you go back to the objective, it's to solve a certain problem, a certain issue. So then if you focus on that, I think you will no longer take it as personal, because without this objective, without this thing that we're trying to solve, you and I am not going to argue. So
There's no common goal.
Yes.
There's no common ground on why. There are other things matter more than your personal feelings.
agree. If the ego is there, you put the ego first before the objective, then yes, that person is going to offend you. That person is going to say something that, now this person is attacking me. But you also don't know what that person is going through in their day. There's a lot of
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
They also probably bottled up a
You
lot
don't
of
know
things.
everything.
So maybe they explode. Maybe you're the person they exploded on. It's not you even. It's just you're the 20th person that gave them all these
Yeah,
things
the
today.
trigger.
Yes, and you're the 20th guy. So if you focus on the objective, it's not going to be an easy thing, because you need to pause. You need to give in the time before the reaction. You need to give the time to ponder upon, like, why is this person? Maybe this person is, going through something. Maybe this person, maybe I've said something wrong. Maybe, so example on a different scenario, let's say between partners, right? If we argue, the reason why we're arguing, there must be a reason.
Of course.
Yes. Because most of the time people are not fighting with each other because of it's you. It's the action, or it's
Yeah.
the whatever. It's like maybe something that you.
Misunderstanding,
Yes.
misinterpretation.
Yes. It's not you personally. It's not you as a person.
It's together.
Together. So if we go back to like what is the objective, are we arguing or fighting so that we solve this issue and become better with each other, or we want to
Pinpoint.
show who is right between the ego?
Then you keep scores lah.
Yeah, then you keep yes, I'm right here, you're
Yeah,
wrong
yeah.
there. So which one is the objective? If that is the purpose, then you go ahead with that purpose. But if the purpose is like, we want this to go long term, we want to fix, we want to become better, then it's a different outcome itself, a different approach.
But I would say people who want to keep score,
Yeah.
their mental health is short-lived.
True.
It will eat them back.
That's true.
Because at the end of the day, human beings, no matter how good you are at controlling your emotion, you eventually need people to connect with you in some sense. But if you become that person that is so self-absorbed and I'm always right, okay, then it's that whole concept flying too close to the sun, right?
Yeah. You get what you give.
Yeah.
I agree. You get what you give. If we try to understand, we try to be the bigger person, and the other person is maybe not all the time be the bigger person because it's healthier for you.
I think people in their earlier part of their life, maybe it's more difficult for them because their ego is still forming.
Yeah.
And then I think if you go through enough things in your life, a lot of shit in your life,
Yeah.
then you start realizing that, oh, it's just not about you.
True.
Actually, you are the one causing all of this. You are.
It's a you problem. Yeah.
But it takes so much for that to happen.
Exactly. So much homework to do. There's a lot of like self-reflecting. And it goes back to the core. You need that time. You need the time to sit with yourself. Without that, it's not going to...
Discipline to allocate the time for yourself to reflect. I agree with that. I also agree with the point number 2. If you don't know your why you want to become emotionally agile, then you can want to do it because everybody else is doing it, but it's not going to last. And you won't really know like what's the benefit of it. You won't get the most out of it because you don't know why you're doing it. So that's why you say that it's finding your purpose. I think it's also like if you are brave enough to look within yourself and list down all your insufficiencies and accept the fact that, okay, I'm not great at this, I'm not great at this, is to come face to reality, because before reality can happen, how are you going to become agile? Do you think self-reflection alone can give you enough feedback?
No, I think you do need to ask for other people's
feedback
right? Also. You cannot just believe that you're always right. There must be a different perspective. We need to put our ego aside. And of course, you are going to find out who you really are. But there are people around you who will be able to see from a different lens that you are not able to see. So it's always good to get a different perspective. Whether or not you agree to that perspective, other people see it in a different way, Yeah, but if we are trying to be like, oh, I know it all, it's not going to work because you're already going into that process with your glass almost full. You can never learn more.
Have you heard of the Johari Window? My mentor who teaches me MBTI. I catch up with him at the office talking about our MBTI adventure. I want to show you this Johari window. I'm going to include it somewhere. In order for you to be conscious, self-awareness, this is a very popular window that psychologists use to get someone to discover parts of themselves. Known to self, known to others. So give me an example of something that I know about you, that you know and I know.
Say I like fashion.
Okay.
Okay.
I know that you like fashion, right?
Yeah.
You also know you like fashion, right? So my trainer was telling me that you need to think about in a workplace or your relationship, whatever, things that you know, this person know, does it help you? That's one thing. So most of the time when we talk to people, we see, right?
Yeah.
If this person, same interest as me, they might know more.
Okay.
I might tell them more. Then you have your blind spot. This is where not known to you, but it's known to other people. So this is when, imagine we said that I already know everything about myself. I know my strength, my weakness, but you haven't get feedback from other people. Because maybe, let's say you're very detached, and then some people feel like your detachment is a bit scary. They will not tell you until you ask. They'll give you feedback. But if you never ask, they will never tell you and you will never know. So your self-awareness is only limited to here until we do this part. Then they say a bit dangerous, hidden area or facade. It's, you know it, but not known to others. I mean, the trainer was joking with me. He asked me like, Michelle, so when you go to the bank and try to withdraw money, what do? I said, key my passcode. He said, how many digits is that? I said, 6 or 8. He said, what's the digit? I said, why would I tell you that? Then he was like, exactly. is because there are some things
You don't.
like
For you to know.
other people cannot know because you
Yeah.
need to ask yourself, is it
Yeah.
because you're not close? Is it because it's inappropriate? So we have to be aware of this window. And then the last one, this is the most dangerous.
No one knows.
Nobody
I
knows.
don't know.
Nobody knows. It's a black hole.
Wow.
That's why I'm always thinking to myself like, okay lah,
So the demon leaves.
demon leaves. The devil that you
The
don't
devil,
know
yeah.
is there. You don't know. Other people don't know it. So it's like they're unconscious. So when I took the emotional intelligence test, I was so skeptical about, do I really know myself? But this is a very interesting. So they said that there's an ideal model. This thing's supposed to be bigger and bigger. Okay, not towards the extent of like you're like a exhibitionist. Everybody knows about you.
Yeah.
Of course not. They said this one should be very small window here, and that.
Only God knows. It's like that.
Oh yeah, this is
For God. Only God knows.
the unknown is the spiritual world.
Spiritual world.
I found it very interesting.
But this is interesting.
right? That's why now I'm just thinking to myself, how am I going to apply this to training, coaching? Kim, you use this framework as an exercise for self-reflection. So people that I work with closely, that I see almost 2 to 3 times a week,
What did he say?
well, what is it that I know that they know about me? And then you switch. Okay, so what is it that actually I know, they don't know, but it's good for them to know? This. So that's a cool one. Okay, anyways, we go back to our question. Do you need a break?
No, I'm okay.
It's already half an hour in.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so we spoke about that. First steps to becoming emotionally agile in daily life. What practices can help people pause instead of react when emotions rise?
What practices?
I know this practice. I learned
Okay.
it from you. You want to try to remember it?
You lah, you tell me.
I remember I was upset with the fact that my cat was scratching herself. And it made me feel like I wasn't there because I was overseas. And then I think you told me like, remember to breathe. Because it's like at that point of time, I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
I was feeling anxious because I cannot just fly back immediately to go and see my cat. And I received a photo of her like bleeding. I obviously couldn't do a lot of things except just breathe and tell myself that things will
gonna
be
be okay.
fine. Yeah,
Like
that was
you're
important.
slowing down the time. Or
Yeah,
not the time.
because if not, right, typically when you're frustrated or angry, you don't breathe.
And that during those times are the most important times that you need to, you need to slow down and breathe.
I have applied that breathing thing also when in meetings, people say things that you're like, there are certain interactions that may not be very pleasant. And then all you need to do is don't ever be the person that reacts.
Yeah.
Because you look like the loser. When you're calm, it's even more dangerous.
More dangerous.
People will
That's
be like, ooh, what's going on? Oh, actually, I'm just breathing. I think the breathing is one.
Solid technique.
Yeah, because that you will actually pause to breathe
Yes.
before you react.
True. So that's true. Until you calm down how you feel, then you will be able to think properly. Because usually, like if you're angry, you're not thinking well, you're not thinking accurately. But if we slow down or we take a pause, which is by breathing and questioning the reasons why you're feeling this way. Example, there's few questions that I would ask myself when I just started get on this journey. Because I used to be like,
Firecracker.
I wouldn't be able to really control my emotions when I was younger. But then it takes a while for me to slow down things, like when things are supposed to offend me. So I will need to ask like, what am I feeling angry or am I feeling disappointed? Where am I at? Because like a thin line,
Yeah,
to be like,
yeah.
oh, I'm sad and disappointed. It's so thin. So it's like to be exact, where am I at? So let's say I'm angry. So now I ask, why am I angry? Why? Why? Is it because this person said something to me? Is it because he said something to me that is true?
That's a very tough question people
Yeah.
don't ask.
Is it, why am I offended? Like in the first place, is it, if it's not true, why am I offended? Now you're saying something to me, now I took it like, oh, I'm offended now. So does that mean that it's true what he's saying? So if you give in enough time, you're going to give the attention to what actually matters.
Yeah.
And you give lesser attention to what doesn't matter.
Or else you're going to be like a puppet. Whatever people press on you, you just react. So I think the question people need to ask themselves is, do they want to be the puppet?
If you want to become the puppet, then you can. Yes.
I press this button, then you like this. I press this button, you like this. I've been through moments where I'm a girl. But it doesn't mean that you can allow yourself to be emotional. We are technically more emotional and we're more neurotic, right?
Yeah.
But there is a lot of peace when you find techniques and ways to regulate. It doesn't mean that the emotion entirely goes away, but you are more wise about it. So I think sometimes emotion can be very useful. Like for example, there's a reason why you feel anxious. It's so that our ancestors used to feel anxious because the lion is chasing them. Imagine you have no anxiety, point a gun at you. Your anxiety sometimes helps you to not get
To not
killed.
die.
Yeah, to not get killed. Some robber come up to you, you're like, I'm going to suppress my emotion right now. I think
I'm going to pause.
Wait, let me pause.
No, you
Breathing
ain't got time for
exercise.
that. You have to run.
Give.
That one.
I think it's more of like we are letting that take over us at the workplace.
Yeah.
So you see your bosses as lions. You see everybody as lions or predators, right? Then you just react. And then you ask yourself, I don't get promoted or I don't get the job. Because you cannot emotionally regulate. How are you going to handle the stress that I'm going to pay you for?
But I think also this topic is not highly discussed. Other than people don't really know about, people don't know how important it is.
No.
But there are a good number of people who knows. Why is it, let's say, not highly discussed? Okay, if we look at it in the bigger picture, they probably don't even want us to be emotionally regulated. They don't want us to.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, because there's a whole effect. If let's say majority of the people are emotionally regulated, you cannot control these people. You cannot sell to them.
You cannot get them to do anything.
They're hardly going to get sick. So it's all a...
Oh, the medical, the pharmacy, the pharmaceuticals.
It's a whole... Exactly.
Your trillions of dollars is gone.
Exactly. I think that's why there's so much distraction from people to look within and reflect and giving the time to...
Wise person.
You be so wise. You be like, yo, I'm going to be so emotionally regulated. I'm not going to be affected by stress. I'm not going to be... You know, so it's like so much effect to the whole economy itself. If majority of the people are like that, what is going to happen is this. There are going to be so much people who will be able to handle big companies. And they don't want that.
A few people can.
Exactly. So
that's how it works.
Yeah.
It's a matrix anyway.
So that's the... Oh, shit.
Sorry guys, this is the real world. But imagine like, it's true, whatever you're saying, it's a recipe for not to be controlled.
Yeah.
When in fact, everything that is engineered around us is to control us.
Yeah.
If not, how are they going to make the world go round?
That's true. So they don't want us to. Yeah.
Be wise.
Exactly.
How do we balance between feeling it all versus not letting emotions run our life? There are people who say that you must feel everything. And then the other one is you cannot feel at all.
What do you think?
What do I think?
Yeah.
Everything is yin and yang, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think the misconceptions that is out there about emotions is that if you allow it to consume you and deter you further and further away from your goals or who you want to become, that of course is going to eat you up. It's like everything needs to be moderated. That's what we mentioned earlier before we started this, right? If I'm dealing with a client, like for coaching, and then they tell me, oh, I feel so bad for this person, but I also feel like they're just feeling everyone.
Yeah.
So it's like you become very all over the place because you feel too much that it paralyzes you. So you're not objective about what needs to be done.
Yeah. You're not focused on the objective.
Yeah,
the
and
purpose.
there are some people who are maybe more of women. They are a little bit worried about the fact that if I don't show my feelings, I am not feminine.
Yeah.
And then because I'm a woman, I need to feel everything. But they realize that it's not helping them anywhere. You get it? So they become very empathetic. But the empathy is like performative. I'm doing things for you because I want to make you feel good. But deep down inside, I resent you. That is... Okay, that's when I think the feeling is a weapon. Then the other side of people is No, feelings are bad. Eliminate it as a whole. So people will see you as like a
Robot.
Oh, so you have no vulnerability, you have no feelings, and then it's like, okay, so how can I relate to you? So how to find balance? You know why I purposely put this question? It says our blind spot, the Johari window.
How do I say this? It's like, because I think it's going to be long, this explanation.